Hello, and thank you so much for listening to The Act of Courage, a global health podcast series brought to you by Capracare, Inc. Capracare is a global health nonprofit that's bringing health care to the people of Haiti. I'm Joanne Heppermann. I am the International Service Chair of the Prospect Goshen Rotary Club located in Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm here with Jean-Pierre Louise, my co-host, as well as the founder and executive director of Capracare. During this third season, Jean and I will be talking with one another and others in the know about how Capracare, with Rotary's help, has brought cervical cancer screenings to the women of southern Haiti, saving lives. We'll talk about the journey. We'll talk about where we hope to go. We'll talk about where we are now. And we are thrilled that you're on the journey with us. Thank you. Welcome. This is episode 8, actually the final episode of the third season of An Act of Courage. We are glad if you're tuning in for the first time. We're so happy to have you. If you've been following us the last 7 weeks, we're thrilled and we thank you very much. Over the last 7 weeks, Jean-Pierre Louise, my co-host and the founder and executive director of Capracare, Jean and I have been talking with a whole host of folks about how the Capracare and Prospect Goshen Rotary story began and how we got to where we are now. John, you may recall, we clearly talked about the fateful beginning, a very unlikely beginning that we met at all, is pretty amazing. Then we had the privilege of talking with Dr. Helen now and Dr. Sophia Lubin about the various screening methods, principally the see and treat method, which is what Capracare uses in screening women for cervical cancer in Haiti. We had, I think, John, it was a good time talking with the Prospect Goshen folks and your folks about the adversity that we encountered along the way as we tried to get this program off the ground. We had to devote a couple of episodes to that to get all of that in, I think. But it was great fun for me talking with the folks that were making this happen about sometimes despair, but almost always unbelievable resourcefulness, but the hope that is needed for us to keep on keeping on. We took a little time out to talk about how in the midst of all of this, and quite unexpectedly, we ran into, or heard about would be a better way to say it, Maison de Naissance, a birthing home in Torbec, Haiti, that provides reproductive services for women in their area. And they were interested in doing what Capracare was doing, and that gave Capracare an opportunity to train, I think, about 11 of their midwives so that they could bring cervical cancer screenings to their clientele as well. But for me, the most fun and probably the most impactful were the last 2 episodes. The one where we talked with your staff, Jean from Capracare, the folks on the ground, about how they truly conquered and are surviving. They conquered earthquakes and hurricanes and relentless civil unrest and government instability to continue to serve the women of the Fonfred area And then last week was surely joyful in that we talked with seven Haitian women who had learned of the opportunity to be screened for cervical cancer, three of them from your staff, four who are in the front Fred area, and some of whom were actually with us in 2017, who they all heard about the opportunity to be screened, and they said yes. And out of that group of seven, one of those lives was saved because precancerous lesions were detected and they were able to freeze them. It has been a journey in talking about that, but what strikes me on this final episode of this season is, while it may be the final episode, Jean, it isn't anywhere close to being the final chapter of this story. So here we are, it's 2024. If we reflect a little bit about what we've heard over the last 7 weeks, what we really want to talk about today is what's next. Where are we going next? But sometimes you figure out where we're going next by listening to those who are doing the work now and where we've come. And I wonder if there's anything in the last 7 weeks, if there's anything in particular that struck you about this story of good folks trying to bring cervical cancer screenings to Haiti. Anything strike you?
There's a lot of things that strike. The number one thing is a realization that we cannot stop this work. How valuable this work is. You think about low and middle income countries having about 500,000 deaths, women dying every year from cervical cancer, something that is so easily solvable, treatable, that we can end, makes no sense. In America, if you want to compare the numbers, in America, it's 4,000 women that dies every year from cervical cancer, but globally, 500,000. That's just too much. So I think that's something that we can definitely end and stop. To think about the courageous people who are behind supporting this work. Our Prospect Goshen Rotary Club members, other club members that has actually partnered with Prospect Goshen as well. Mm-hmm. Their support means the world to us. Our staff who are on the front line of the work being done, seeing these people's every day and saving their lives. That's big. Those things really stands out to me. Our viewers.
If I can I stop you for just a minute? Yeah. When you talk about there's more work to be done, I am particularly reminded of the episode when we talked about your folks, where Chantel talked about every new site that they visit, they meet people at that site who want you all to come to where they are, because the people in those areas need to be served as well. And Chantel and your three nurses were passionate about how we needed to continue to do this work. And then last week, the women themselves were passionate about how we couldn't stop. There were still too many people who needed to be screened. And so that was amazing to me. Okay, I interrupted you. Oh, and you know what? One other thing. You mentioned the other clubs. The Prospect Goshen Rotary Club, without a doubt, is the club that has led this charge. But in our Rotary district, which is made up of 55 clubs, 14 of those clubs have donated to this cause to help us do the funding that we needed to do, which is rather remarkable. Jean, you are you are a well-respected organization here in the western half of Kentucky.
Thank you so much, Joanne. I definitely appreciate that. But I can't take all the credits. You have been our champion for this program. You're the one that's been taking the charge to lead this. We could not have done this work without you. So as we give kudos to everyone else, let's not forget that. Um, Everything that start with a desire, with an idea, but in every team, you have to have someone who quarterbacks, who point guards, who leads, and that has been you. And we are very grateful for your courage as well.
Well, thank you. I think we would call it the Mutual Admiration Society here. Okay, so anything else that we should talk about in terms of, as a result, what our listening audience should know is I came along to do this very reluctantly. I wasn't excited about doing this at all, and and it's possible that the person who's been most impacted by this um, experience has been me, because I had forgotten a lot of our story. So remind me of the other things that struck you, and I'll share mine too as we did this.
Well, when we keep thinking about this, it's we do it every day, so we take it for granted, but this is so easy. We only need three things to conduct this screening. It's speculum, vinegar, and light, just to conduct the screening, right? So it shows you that a simple treatment, a simple screen like that can save someone's life, but yet it's not accessible because we don't have enough staff, we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough people to actually conduct this work. And that is something that strikes me like, wow, we need to make this. Well, if I use an internet word, it's like we need to make this viral, right? We need to do this throughout Haiti. We need to make it go viral so everyone can know this is what we are doing to save women's life in Haiti, and we can do this. 500,000 women don't have to die worldwide because of such a simple screen that can save their life. Just using simple speculum, vinegar, and light.
And I think we knew when we started this and with you in 2015, I think we knew that there weren't a lot of other organizations that were doing anything, particularly in southern Haiti. But it does amaze you and me again, 9 years later, that there still are very few organizations or locations where women can go to be screened for cervical cancer. And why that's true, when it is so easy, confounds you and me both. So when we talk about what's next, um, we should talk about what can be done to make people more aware. Dr. Sophia Lubin and Dr. Helen talked about that as well, that women aren't being screened because they simply aren't aware. All that said, there is no doubt your folks are incredibly resourceful. And I tell you, one of the things that struck me the most, one of the things was, to be honest, the outcomes. When we wrote the global grant in 2015, there never was an inkling that what would be required in order for you all to continue to be successful was a mobile clinic. I mean, to me, that just sort of came out of nowhere. And then that mobile clinic showed up, what, a month before the hurricane, or not the hurricane, the earthquake.
That's right. And immediately they had to pivot and just respond to save folks who were injured by the earthquake.
It was a pivot. It was a pivot that, while it delayed the second global grant really for almost a year and a half, but when you think about it, for almost a year, and a half with everything going wrong. But nonetheless, because there was that mobile clinic that the second global grant paid for, the work never stopped.
Capracare has a great dream to screen 25,000 women for cervical cancer. Every screening has the potential to save a woman's life. Your fingerprints, too, can be a part of this success story in one of two ways. First, you can take your support to the next level and become an active part of our mission by becoming a monthly donor. Join Changemakers, our monthly giving club, today. Visit capracare.org/changemakers to set up your donation. It's quick and impactful. The second way is you can contribute specifically to the Prospect Goshen Rotary Clubs Foundation to help fund the next cervical cancer global grant. This next grant, through the magic of Rotary's matching programs, will provide funding to screen more Haitian women in more locations. Log on to the Rotary Club of Prospect Goshen's website. It's www.pgrotary.net to read more about how Rotary is working with Capracare and other partners to rein in cervical cancer in Haiti. From there, you can contribute directly to the Prospect Goshen Rotary Club Foundation to help fund the next cervical cancer global grant. Be a part of saving lives. It will change your life.
And then out of the blue, I mean, we talked a good game when we started the first global grant about how you all would train other people to do this work. But candidly, if nobody else is doing the work, those opportunities don't present themselves very often. But it did. And boy, you took the bull by the horns and organized training sessions for Maison de Naissance, who were going to use high-tech equipment that for a year and a half nobody would train on. So nobody would train their staff how to use it. So you taught them how to do see and treat.
And that's right. And I think that's one of the things that we will have to do is look forward to partner with more organizations and train more organizations to also be able to do this type of work. And we're very proud to be partnering with them to be able to save more lives.
You know, when we talk about what's next, that's another thing to talk about is how the Capracare folks can better identify who may be available in the various sites that you visit, who may be available to be trained. We know that there's medical facilities of some kind in some of these places that you go, and training perhaps should be higher on the list of things to do. We get so busy doing the work that we don't always do what's necessary to figure out how to make the work easier. Talk to me about numbers, though, Jean. We talked about them a little bit, but we have never talked actually about the number of sites that you all have visited, the number of women that have been reached, the educated and screened and saved. Tell me what you know about all of that.
Well, I know we have done over 100 sites. We have over 100 partner sites that we've done mobile clinics at. We have reached over 40,000 women. We have educated over 5,000 women.
Mm.
And we have also screened nearly 4,000 women. Right?
Oh.
And we've saved over 175 lives.
Time well spent. Time well spent.
Yes, amazing.
Amazing. Okay, so it is amazing. Now, so when I'm listening to your numbers, we have screened 4,000 women. Your goal is to screen 25,000 women a year. which you insist when you talk to me that that's doable. So tell me how you think that is. Tell me how you think that's doable, what your role is, and what Rotary can do for you.
You know, when I say these numbers, and you're looking at, we've been doing this work for the past 5 years, those numbers are really the tip of the iceberg. But the more the staff does this work, they realize the urgency to reach more people. They realize if we can have more capacity to have more staff trained, to bring to have another 2 mobile vans to reach more sites, to reach more folks. We can do those 25,000 folks annually. And when you break it down to, it's 500 folks that we can screen on a weekly basis. 2,000 persons can be screened on a monthly basis. And when you multiply that, 25,000 is so reachable. So reachable. So we believe that we can. We just need to continue to inspire more folks to support this work. And one person can contribute to our program and reach somebody. So each of our listeners can play a role in saving more lives and reaching more people and making this 25,000 women to be screened annually a reality.
Well, I always like to talk about the opportunity to have your fingerprint on another person's life. And I don't know that there is a better example of a program where ordinary people are given an opportunity to do extraordinary things. This is it. This is it. And if we do the math in Haiti, the math generally is, unfortunately, that about 10% of the women, in fact, have the virus, the HPV virus, which is way higher than it is anywhere else. And of that number, of that number, if in fact the virus becomes cancerous, those women will die. Those women will die. So if we can screen 25,000 women a year, and keep my math right, but it's feasible that we could save 2,500 lives. We could save 2,500 lives a year. We could save 2,500 lives a year. Well, it was amazing last week when we had the 7 women on the podcast and on the screen for the YouTube. Out of that 7, boy, keeping with that math, there was one. There was one whose life had been saved. So if I hear you correctly, then you think you want another mobile clinic?
Absolutely. If we can have 2 more mobile clinics, we know, not just 1, 2. We'll start with another one, but if we can have 2 mobile clinics, we can definitely should breeze through those numbers to reach those women. There's a desperate need for it. And what's alarming is that the minute you reach to these women and you start to do educational workshop and you explain to them what that is, they're like, oh, wow, they know someone who could use this service, right? And they become the one who reach out to other folks to bring them to be screened as well. So it's just a matter of us being able to get out there and conduct more outreach, conduct more education, conduct more screening, and save more women's life.
Well, and so now would be the right time for me to say to our audience, number one, if you are a Rotarian, or if you know a Rotarian, we're all over the United States, we're all over the world. If you are, or you know a Rotarian, sign them up. Sign them up to take on additional sites. Prospect Goshen can do another global grant, and we need Rotarians to help fund that. But in my view, wouldn't it be unbelievable if one Rotary Club per state, just think about that, one Rotary Club per state, there's one club in Kentucky. Well, if we had 49 more clubs who did global grants, we'd cover, John, we'd cover the southern half of Haiti. And for the Rotarians out there, we know how to do this. We can help. we can help. The hardest thing is identifying organizations like yours, Jean, that are on the ground, that have people that will run with it. And I'm thinking you can help.
No, absolutely. That is our goal. As we continue to collaborate with other organizations, is to get more folks involved, to get them to take this on with us, so we don't do it by ourselves, because we know we can go further with others to do this work.
Well, I know that Jim Grant, the executive director of Maison de Naissance, has been blown away by the effectiveness of the mobile clinic. And we shouldn't downplay the fact that, in fact, you do still see women in the clinic in Fonfred. That was not a waste of anybody's time to set up that clinic, because it was from there that all of us learned how to make this work. But when he learned that you all actually, when you all go out, you screen about 100 women per visit when you go out. And so in talking with Jim, yeah, guess what he wants? He wants a mobile clinic. he,
Makes
he,
sense.
he wants a mobile clinic so that they can better serve the people in the area that they serve as well, because it is proved to be wildly successful. If I remember correctly, I think it was Miss Joathamy who said that the other thing that she wants a global grant to provide are better tables that you could carry with you in the clinic, because you can't rely on the site where you're going for more tables. And I know that Dr. Helen Lau has a long list of things she would like for another global grant to provide. But to be honest, that's about what it takes. For those of you who may be Rotarians or are no Rotarians, the beauty about doing this, folks, is this is a problem that can be solved. And you'll save lives, and you'll be able to enumerate the number of lives that you have saved. And if there isn't, I don't know what else Rotarians like to do better than to save lives. And so this is a great way to be involved. But the caveat here is Rotary comes in and we give you funds, but then we go away. And Jean, that's why Capracare needs the money to continue to support the program after Rotary goes away.
And absolutely, and this is where we said, when you mentioned anyone can have their fingerprints on this, right? It's to help us to continue to sustain this level of work, and anyone can get involved in supporting us to continue making it happen. So therefore, when we do get the additional Rotary grants, it's just to be able to impact more people. Well, how beautiful would that be, where if we can have each state have their fingerprints on this, right? That definitely would cover the whole southern half of Haiti in terms of not having women come down with this. So this should be like the last thing on their mind is cervical cancer.
And the other I know that there are other organizations throughout southern Haiti who actually do a tremendous amount of work in Haiti, just not related in any way to doing cervical cancer screenings. Again, if we could better identify who those organizations are, because those are the folks that we can approach about helping sponsor, if nothing else, just a site, just a site. Because here's the problem that I want us to have: for there to be more clubs and districts lined up to help than places we have for them to go. How cool would that be?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. That would be a good problem to have.
We'll look forward to that problem. And I'm older than you, Jean. I know that I was older then. I think everybody who was on any of these podcasts, I used to talk about how we could solve this problem in my lifetime. I'm not sure that that's true anymore, but I'm quite sure that we can in yours. And so that ought to be the goal. It ought to be the goal that we, regardless of what happens in Haiti, what you all have shown us, and then for the rest of the world, for all intents and purposes, is whatever's going on in Port-au-Prince and the lack of governmental support, it hasn't stopped the screening of women for cervical cancer in Fonfred or Trebek. It's not stopped it. It never stopped.
No, and that's something that we are very proud of, right? Is, our name Capracare means an act of courage. And here we are now, we have a podcast to promote that message, to get more people involved. And so we're not planning to stop. We don't have an exit plan. We understand doing work in Haiti is a challenge, but we up for the challenge. And the more folks that we can get to join our team, to not just be bystanders or just stand on the sideline, to join us, we can make this happen.
We can make it happen. And if you wonder if your efforts are appreciated, or if you're a new club thinking about this, take a look at the women from episode 7 who were screened and talked about how important it was and how it gave them hope and how we can't leave them behind. The Haitian people are some of the most resourceful, but most joyous, gracious, grateful people I have had the privilege of serving. It has been a blessing in my life. I joke when I go talk to Rotary clubs about joining our efforts. John, I always say that my life would be so much easier if I had never met you, but it wouldn't be as blessed as it is today. And then I invite them and invite all of you, join us. You will be blessed. I guarantee it.
Let your fingerprints be a part of this success story. Log on to Capracare's website at www.capracare.org/changemakers, or go to the Prospect Goshen's Rotary Club website at www.pgrotary.net to donate today. Together we will save lives. You can also help Capracare's mission by subscribing to this podcast and leaving a rating and review. Thank you for growing our listening community.